Hello, everybody, and welcome back to a brand new episode of the 2021 NR2003 NASCAR series on the channel where we follow along with the real life NASCAR schedule week by week. Today, you can see the scene here. Bristol Dirt, we made it happen. Very excited to see the craziness that is about to ensue today. As usual, I have Jay Cook joining myself in the booth. Jay, I'm sure you're looking forward to this one. Probably arguably the biggest wild card race of the season coming at us very early here in the season tonight.
Certainly a very, very big wild card. I mean, I don't know if really anybody knows what's going to happen in this race. We're on dirt for the first time in 60 something years, I think, if not a little bit longer than that. And these Cup guys, a lot of these Cup guys have never seen dirt before, and none of them have seen dirt until this weekend in a Cup car. So I don't think that we can automatically say that a guy like Kyle Larson or Christopher Bell is going to win this race because honestly, we don't know how they're going to be in a Cup car on dirt. So I truly do think that honestly we can see anybody win here today, and I also really do think that this race is going to be a wreck fest as well. I mean, to put it bluntly, I really think these guys are going to lose control quite often. So it's also going to be about survival, and whoever survives and finds himself in the right position at the end is probably going to win this race.
Definitely going to be exciting to watch here. Last time out last week, Denny Hamlin picked up the victory as the cars are rolling here at Bristol. So you're going to see the order. It was very quick pace lap here, by the way, at Bristol Motor Speedway. But you see Kurt Busch on the front row. Jay, like I said, we don't really know what to expect here. Dirt favorites might not end up being the favorite tonight. So who do you think right now is your favorite, though, to win this race?
I don't know if I have a favorite, to be quite honest with you. I mean, my first pick, automatically to go with a dirt guy like Kyle Larson. But I truly don't know how you can choose a pick for this race. To be honest, there's just way too many things that are not our norm here, and honestly, I think it's just going to be a race of luck.
And underway we are, and you can already see a lot of three-wide action. And we've done some testing, or I've done some testing personally. You're really going to have to watch out for these guys on the exit of turns 4. That's going to be the danger spot right now. As you see the 20 and the 5 already actually making a little bit of contact already in the back. I see some trouble. It's Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch involved in another accident early in a race. Daniel Suarez back there, the 34 of McDowell as well, and the 8 of Tyler Reddick as well. Yeah, there you see the 99 of Suarez. I think 4 or 5 cars just got wiped out on this first and opening lap here in Bristol Motor Speedway for the dirt race. And Jay, we just saw Kyle Busch. His terrible season so far. We just saw him get wrecked out here on lap 1.
Yeah, that's really, really, really awful for him. And another guy who I think might have been involved in that, but I'm honestly unsure if he got any damage, was Alex Bowman. I know I saw him slow and kind of in the group of guys, but he is another person who does not need to have a bad race, and it looks like he might have actually escaped that damage free. So that's really lucky for him. But yeah, Kyle Busch in a wreck already. Man, that's not what you need to see from him.
Yeah, about like I said, 4 or 5 cars right there got collected in that crash. I thought it was going to happen with Kyle Larson and Christopher Bell, but at the same time, with kind of how hyped up this race has been, I am not surprised one bit that we just had a caution on the opening lap of this event. As you see, Kyle Busch already pulling off into the pit lane as the rest of the field stays out. Jay, we look at the point standings right now. Surprisingly, Kyle is tied for the first spot out of the playoffs with his brother Kurt, and he's only 3 points below the cut line considering how bad his season has been. So that's at least got to make him feel a little bit better.
It's also kind of surprising you mentioned there that Kurt Busch is one of the first one out. Or actually is the first one out. We've seen Kurt be extremely fast this season, and he qualified very good today. I believe he was on the pole, if I'm not mistaken. And he hasn't had the results that he's looking for either. So both of the Bush brothers struggling so far this season, and I mean it just seems like week in and week out we keep talking about Kyle Busch and when is their struggles going to end, and he needs to stop having these things happen and have a good race, and it just so far is not happening for him, and those points results show. And at some point here he's got to kick it into gear, otherwise he's going to be in really, really, really bad danger of missing out on the playoffs.
Daniel Suarez involved in that crash as well. I look at him in the last week. He actually had to come to the pit lane. He couldn't even get into the race basically at the start. He started multiple laps down because of a mechanical issue, and he lost a bunch of points, and now that's going to make him fall down the order even more with that incident right there. So very unfortunate start for both Daniel Suarez as well as Kyle Busch. We saw Tyler Reddick pick up some damage. You see the 16 of Gralla has a little bit of damage as well, but it really looks like only two cars majorly actually damage right now, and that's the 8 and the 18. And the 99 as well has got quite a bit of damage on the back end of the cars. Joey Logano out front here at the Bristol Dirt Racetrack here, and he already has a win this season, so we know he's locked into the playoffs, and he can just go all out here today as we will be going green this time by. But Chase Elliott down there in P3, Jay, we've been watching him right now. He's currently 15th, I believe, in the standings, just barely above that cut line right now. Definitely hasn't been the season he's been looking for, and we look at the last 2 weeks, he's actually crashed out of the last two races, so things haven't quite gone his way recently either.
Yeah, not at all. He's had a struggle to the start of the season, like a lot of guys in the field have. I mean, we look back to, obviously we keep mentioning it every week. We look back to the road course races where we expect him to be the dominant guy, and he had no factor there at all. So his bread and butter, he wasn't even in contention to win. So I mean, so far, it's been a rough start for Chase Elliott as well. But luckily for him, he still had decent finishes. And I mean, I think it's just a matter of time, honestly, until he wins. He hasn't shown bad speed at all. We've kind of seen Kyle Busch and Bowman and some others struggle. He hasn't shown bad speed. He just hasn't been in that position to win yet. Oof, and he's also had some bad luck. His man Truex is sending it there on his teammate.
He drove right into the back of the 20, it looked like, of Christopher Bell. Didn't pick up any damage right there, fortunately, as Kyle Larson's being taken 3 wide. But we got the two dirt guys we always pay attention to. Kyle Larson, Christopher Bell running right now at the very bottom part of the top 10 here. Eric Almirola in the mix. And you can really see they can really send it on the outside there. But we actually already have another caution out here on the track. I'm not sure what it is for this time. As I don't see
Looks like there
anything.
was some damage to the right side of the 52, and Kyle Busch also potentially had more of his front end gone, I think.
Have things
Maybe
just
not. That
gone
might have been already
from?
what was gone.
Yeah, I can't tell. I don't see anyone that looks or sticks out
The
the 34
52, the
maybe.
52 had some damage to his right side. It was right in front of the
Oh, there
pace
he is
car.
right there. Wow, we've had what, two green flag laps so far here at Bristol Dirt. And from the test I've done, actually, this is even a bit of a surprise for me. But we're gonna quickly go in and see what in the world just brought out this caution here for the second time already in 11 laps at what is starting off to be a crazy race here at Bristol Motor Speedway on the dirt. Things go from bad to worse for Kyle Busch. He's a part of the first two cautions of the day. Right there, just ran Josh Bilicki out of room. And around he went, put themselves in the wall, and that brings out the second caution of the day here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Jay, I definitely cannot say I expected things to be this bad for Kyle Busch. We've seen him have races this season where he's wrecked multiple times. I've mentioned the Daytona Road Course a few times this season where he wrecked 3 times, I think it was, before he ended up DNFing, and it's just terrible luck. I honestly cannot believe how bad it has gotten for this 18 car of Kyle Busch.
I honestly need to think we need to stop going from I can't believe this is happening to him to just expecting it. Because I mean, we keep saying it week in, week out. You know, he's got to show better speed. He's got to stop having stuff to him, having stuff happen to him. And yet, what happens every single week? He gets involved in a wreck, and a lot of times it's him putting himself in a spot where he doesn't need to be. Like that right there with Bilicki. I don't know what he was doing. He just drove into the side of Bilicki and put himself and Bilicki in the wall. So he's got to drive smarter. He's got to drive with his head level, and he's got to not put himself in spots that he doesn't need to be in. Because honestly, I think a lot of this is damage that he's doing to himself.
And I remember as well, we saw him actually cause a crash under caution at Las Vegas Motor Speedway already about a month ago. That was with his teammate of Denny Hamlin and whatnot. So, I mean, you had mentioned there about him putting himself in really bad spots. And yeah, I mean, it's very baffling to see that happen from a two-time Cup Series champion, but I'm sure they're going to kind of get it figured out here within the coming weeks, or at least we would expect them to. Now, of course, we know they've had a crew chief change, and I mean, honestly, a whole team change over there for Kyle Busch. So, I mean, Jay, could that maybe be playing a role of, other than the him putting himself in bad spots? Could that be playing a bit of a role in the struggles here?
It could be playing a bit of role, I guess, in maybe the speed the team has, because we haven't seen him have a truly dominant or fast car at all this season. But I mean, it all goes back to, again, still he just puts himself in situations that he doesn't need to be in, and that's all driver. That's nothing to do with the team. That's all driver error, and honestly, driver error has been the biggest cause of their problems so far this season.
Now getting ready to go green once again this lap. We should also mention that stage 1 ends at the end of lap 40, stage 2 ends at the end of lap 81, and then we race it all the way to lap 150 for the rest of stage 3 as we're getting ready once again to take the green flag. Definitely, I can't say I expected Joey Logano to be the one leading the way here now, as we are once again for the third time already on lap 15 back underway here at Bristol Dirt. Really, Jay, we haven't gotten much of a good idea to really see what anyone truly has, because we've had maybe 2 green flag laps of racing so far.
Yeah, we haven't seen really anything from anybody yet. We've gone, what, 15 laps into this race, and like you said, I think we've gotten 2 green flag laps so far.
Caution.
So I mean, and a third one before we get another caution.
We got a couple cars pitting.
I
36 of Reagan, the 51 of Cody Ware. I mean, not really notables there, but I don't know what brought that one out. I do see damage on the right side of the 00, but this is one heck of a start here at Bristol Dirt now. Is how much you want to bet Kyle Busch caused that one?
I mean, I could certainly guarantee that the 00 was involved in that. I don't see anyone else with damage, so it would not surprise me if Kyle Busch was involved. It looks like this is another case of maybe what happened with him and Balicki. Maybe Quinn Hoff there driving into the inside of someone and putting themselves on the wall. And I don't know if he drove into Balicki, who has still right side damage, or maybe it was Kyle Busch. I honestly don't know.
Well, let's get a look at the replay here. Kyle Busch goes 3 for 3 here, as you see right here. He gets crowded up into the wall by Quinn House, similar to what Kyle did to Josh Balicki, and around goes a 00. Balicki actually got a piece of it, and Kyle Busch, for the third time in 3 cautions, is involved in another crash here from Bristol Motor Speedway. We are going to go for a quick break and come back to you guys for the restart here from Bristol Dirt, where hopefully we might get more than 1 or 2 laps under some green flag conditions. Welcome back here at Bristol Dirt from a quick break here as we're getting ready to go back green. So far, it's been quite the race, Jay. We've had 3 cautions in the first 20 laps. I mean, is this a good indicator of what we're going to see for the rest of the stage, you think?
Certainly seems like it, since I mean these guys want to keep just crashing each other after 1 lap of green. So I mean, it seems like so far that we're gonna have not really a wreck fest, because it's not a whole bunch of cars wrecking, but just a bunch of cautions. A caution fest is basically the way I'll describe it.
I mean, we've seen one common trend so far with all 3 cautions. Of course, Kyle Busch has not been able to stay away from any type of mess. So keep an eye on him now, as we're going to see if we can actually go green for multiple laps on end. Right now, we're coming through out of turns 4, and that is going to be 1 lap completed back there. Now, as you see a bunch of slower cars on the bottom, like Daniel Suarez got a lot of damage there on that Trackhouse car. Chase Elliott running 3rd. Now, as actually the caution is out here again at Bristol. Who is this? Oh, I think it might be Stenhouse the culprit this time. The 41 has damage, but I don't believe Kyle Busch is involved. But it appears that Jay, once again, we are under caution, and we're going to get a quick look at what just happened here at Bristol. Cole Custer, the culprit this time right here. He clips William Byron on the exit of the corner, hits the wall, and then Ricky Stenhouse Jr. piles in right there, goes around and gets hit by a few cars as Custer picks up a bunch of damage here, as Kyle Busch is able to actually get through a crash this time. So 4 crashes, and we just haven't been able to stay green. I'm sure the more cars we crash, then it'll definitely increase our chances to go along here in Bristol. Well, Jay, that's once again a 1 lap, 2 lap dash, and then we have a caution now. So really making things weird, as we're already going to be probably 15 laps to go in stage 1. And I mean, honestly, do you think we've gotten a good feel for who's going to be good here? Because we can't do anything now, as actually it appears maybe we got some cars pitting. Logano stays out, but look at all the guys that come in, but we also see some stay out here. So anyways, JD, I mean, it's been really interesting to see this so far. But do you think Logano has the best car if it stays green here to potentially win this thing?
No, I don't. I mean, I'm not saying he does or doesn't. I just don't know if he does, and I can't guarantee that, because I mean, the most we've seen is 2 laps now. These guys have just been I'm not too sure what Kurt is doing here. I saw him
He
pull
has
out
to
of his
wait for the
box and
field
he
to go by.
stopped. Okay. Anyways, we haven't seen these guys do anything yet. I haven't seen any performance out of any of these cars yet because we've only gone 2 laps at the most green. So it's been interesting to say the least. But I mean that wreck there, I think there's a pretty easy explanation for that one. I mean there's so much dust when these guys run up on that outside. There's so much just dirt and dust flying in the air that you can't really see. And unfortunately for Stenhouse, he could not see that Custer was spinning there, and then it just created a whole bunch of havoc, and a bunch of guys behind also couldn't see and just piled in there. So that might be a consistent theme that we see all day long here. Is if somebody has an incident like that up there in the high side and they're in the dust, these guys won't be able to see them, and they'll just come piling in.
Keselowski got a bunch of damage, by the way, on the back end of that car. Not sure exactly what happened there with the Penske driver, but we saw some cars pit, we saw some cars stay out, and that puts Austin Cindric now into second place. The rookie Kyle Larson into third, Christopher Bell fourth, and to round out the top five, Bubba Wallace there. So he's having a good run here today. We saw some speed from that 23 last time out last week there in Atlanta, so it seems like that team is starting to overall make some improvements. But right now, we've got the 47 of Stenhouse. He is out of the race. Suarez 3 laps down. He's got a bunch of damage. The 36, we saw him on pit road multiple times. Surprisingly, Jay, Kyle Busch is on the lead lap in 23rd right now as we're getting ready to go green. That's something I do not expect to see here right now.
The cautions are the biggest thing helping him. If this thing goes green, he's going to fall a lap down very, very quickly. So right now, I think he honestly has the hope for more cautions. I mean, if at this point with how much damage you have, any time they're going to go green flag, Kyle Busch is going to get just absolutely ran over.
And coming through turns 3 and 4, the pace car is about to pull off, and we're about to be back underway here. And hopefully, this time, somehow, we can manage to go green to the end and get some good racing here from Bristol as the green flag is back out. You see just how slow those cars on the inside there are, led by Daniel Suarez, Kyle Larson, P3 there with Christopher Bell on the very top of the track. Bubba Wallace in the middle there. Very cool to see Bubba Wallace. Jay, we know a guy like Bubba Wallace, maybe a bit of an underdog here today. We've seen him win at Eldora before against a driver like Kyle Larson, so he knows how to get the job done at dirt. As actually saw Hamlin in the wall there, but we know Bubba knows how to get it done here on the dirt track.
Yeah, we saw him win at Eldora, and if I recall correctly, he dominated that race, or at least was up front for a very good portion of it. So I do agree with you. I think he is underrated here. He's not a guy that everybody talks about as a guy that really does well on dirt. But I mean, we've seen him obviously already win a dirt race in a NASCAR car. So I do think that maybe he's not. I don't think he's going to get a win here today. I don't really think there's any chance of that. But I mean, certainly taking advantage of these guys pinning and in a good spot right now. So I expect to see him continue to run good. But as far as being able to have the best car to win, I don't think that's going to happen at all. As it certainly seems like at the moment, anyways, with these guys pitting, Logano out of
Caution.
the group that's up here, Logano has the best cars. There's a caution again.
And we got cars pitting right away as soon as that caution comes out. I saw the 3 on the pit lane. Oh, it's Kevin Harvick and I think Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch appears like again, but Kevin Harvick as well, Jay. We saw him win the first 2 races of the season. Oh boy.
Harvick may have been involved on the slowdown. I may be wrong, but I think he may have gotten wrecked by somebody slowing down. Is there's even more trouble?
Kyle Busch just turned the 3 car, I think. Kyle Busch has gone rogue here today on Bristol dirt as he goes by the pace car. Caution is out. We're gonna get a look at what happened.
Austin Dillon has not had fun with JGR crew
No,
today.
he's not.
When Hamlin got in the wall earlier, that was because Austin Dillon punted him in the wall.
Harvick smoking. That's got to be the end of his day. I mean, big right there. Kevin Harvick actually has had a bunch of DNFs lately after those 2 wins to start the season, and it just got worse for him as you're going to see all the guys that did not pit there under the last caution now are going to come into the pit lane. So we'll get a look at what happens there on the pit lane first before we get a look at what just brought out that caution. But Martin Truex Jr. now, by the way, is a lap down from this race. William Byron is a lap down, as well as Austin Dillon is 2 laps down. So it's starting to shake up a little bit here at Bristol now as you see Logano come into the pit lane. So the 3 car stays up though, so yeah, it's getting a little bit messed up. Kevin Harvick can confirm he is out of the race. There's a huge hit for Kevin Harvick early in stage one.
Yeah, you mentioned it there. I mean, Harvick got those 2 wins, and his season has just gone downhill fast. I mean, he's had some terrible luck so far, and I have to imagine that he just got involved in something there that was not of his own doing. Kevin Harvick is not the guy who wrecks people or gets himself into wrecks. It's usually just unfortunate if he's involved in a wreck. Is unfortunate timing in an unfortunate spot. So I have to think that someone else's mistake ended his day once again. And unfortunately for Harvick, I mean, luckily for him, he has his 2 wins, but unfortunately, his season has gotten a lot worse ever since he's won.
And now let's get a quick look at what brought out that caution here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Now as Chris Buescher now leads the way. Kyle Busch is back at it. He causes the fourth crash of the day here, fifth crash of the race, but his fourth incident of the day. At the 33 of, that was the 2 of Keselowski, and then the 4 of Kevin Harvick piles in. Kyle would end up continuing on. He's somehow still in the race. Kevin Harvick's out, but you're going to see as he heads down into turns 3 and 4. You saw the 3 car of Austin Dillon come out of the pit lane, and this is where it gets even crazier as Kyle Busch comes through out of the corner. He is going to run straight into the back of the 3 car and just punt him out of the way and cause a bunch of damage there. And Kyle Busch is just a straight up wrecking machine here today at Bristol Dirt, and somehow he still remains in the race. There you see the live view of Kyle Busch's Toyota Camry right now on the pit lane getting some repairs. I mean, Jay, I am surprised at this point that NASCAR is even allowing him to remain in the race.
I mean, you called it a Toyota Camry. Honestly, I'll call that a Toyota Smashbox at this point because that thing is just absolutely demolished and destroyed. It has no resemblance to an actual car at all. I mean, I agree with you. I don't know how NASCAR has not parked him yet. This is just A, his driving has been atrocious, and B, that car is absolutely destroyed. There's no reason he should still be in this race.
An absolute disaster. And yeah, I mean, do you think the damage is that he picked up in that first incident is leading to these other potential crashes?
I mean, it's always a possibility, but the way we've seen him drive and just the kind of mistakes he's made, I honestly don't think that the damage is doing that much damage. Pardon the pun there, but I don't think it's the reason for all this happening. I honestly think he's just making mistakes and just being a bit of a bonehead.
And the green flag once again back out. By the way, the 14 is now second place there behind the 17 of Chris Buescher. So the 17 car is leading. You're seeing some lap traffic, of course, in the way. I think this is a recipe for another disaster right here. Now as we are back underway, we did have a nice somewhat long green flag run right there. It was like 5-6 laps, and that was the longest one of the day. And there's only right now 3 laps to go, by the way, in stage 1. So if we have a caution right here, this will be the end of the first stage. So all of a sudden, Chris Buescher, who, Jay, I think we can both agree, has been stealing so many points this season. He hasn't had great speed, but he's been able to get points and put himself in the playoffs. And now here he is about to potentially steal a stage win. Actually, I see a crash. Kurt Busch, Kyle Larson involved. Caution is out. That will end stage 1. That's probably the biggest one of the day right there. Kurt Busch goes spinning. Kyle Larson, Joey Logano, they have damage. Larson looks okay. The 48 just got hit in the back, as well as I believe those were really the only ones affected. But out of nowhere, right there, we're seeing this happen.
Was in it pretty heavily as well.
Oh, I do see De Benedetto there on the bottom. Oh my goodness, this is just total chaos at this point. I mean, we expected chaos, Jay, but I don't think we expected this.
Yeah, I don't think either one of us expected them to only be able to go 4 laps at a maximum. I mean, we're already done with stage 1, and this is what we have. We've run we're on lap 40, and we've run maybe 10 green flag laps in total. So this has been quite atrocious at this point.
And I mean, there you see the top 10, and honestly, we see the 54 car. I don't even know who that is. It might be J.J. Yaley, actually. We got the 53 up there as well. So that, of course, like I said, put an end to stage 1 right here on lap 41 as everybody up front is going to come into the pit lane. So I guess we're going to go to a quick break here and send you off, or come back with a replay of that incident. So we'll be back momentarily here from Bristol Motor Speedway. Back at Bristol Motor Speedway, Kurt Busch bringing out the latest caution to end stage 1. There you saw it in the 21 and the 5. They get involved. The 22, the 38, even the 48. The 41 picked up some damage as well. The 1 car continues to spin out. The 23 may have gotten a piece of it as well, but a bunch of cars with damage there to end stage one. Unfortunate for drivers like Kyle Larson, who was running well, didn't really pick up much damage, so it shouldn't affect him too much, as you also see a little bit of damage there on the left side of the 11 car to end the first stage here today at Bristol Motor Speedway on the dirt. Getting ready to go green for the start of stage two here at Bristol. Jay, what do you think here? We're gonna repeat stage one all over again?
I have to think so. I mean, we haven't seen anything to prove that these guys are not going to keep wrecking. We've just consistently seen them keep wrecking, and honestly, at this point, I expect that.
Chase Elliott leads the way. We're seeing a bunch of cars that we are used to seeing run in the back here up in the top 10 now as we go down into turns one and two. Martin Truex Jr. actually trapped a lap down at the moment, so he is trying to fight his way back now as they send it off into three. Ryan Newman up here in the mix. Tyler Reddick, as we know, Tyler Reddick, a good dirt racer. A bunch of damage on that car now as we do keep it green for the first lap here in stage two. So, I mean, we've already made a bit of an accomplishment now as we come through out of turn two. So, that's something we didn't accomplish there in stage one. This is the longest run so far compared to how we started the race now as we come through out of four. And that will be 2 laps under green complete now, but I already see a little bit of trouble brewing there in the midfield as sure enough we got problems. The caution is out again as I just saw Anthony Alfredo, Denny Hamlin, and Brendan Gaughan all go crashing there. Jay, this has got to come to an end at some point. Oh, Noah Gragson, I mean.
I don't know. I don't know if it'll come to an end at some point. Honestly, these guys are racing really hard. Is the way I would describe it, and they're making a lot of mistakes. And I mean, we're on the dirt for the first time with these Cup cars. It's kind of to be expected that these guys are going to make mistakes and be a little bit all over the place. But man, I didn't see this race going like this. I didn't see us only being able to go 2 or 3 laps before another wreck, and then 2 or 3 in another wreck, and then 1 or 2 in a wreck, and maybe 5 laps in another wreck. So I mean, at this point, it's just whoever has the least damage is going to win. Honestly.
And well, I mean, let's get a look again at the replay here to bring out yet another caution at Bristol Dirt. Here's the view. Alex Bowman coming together with the 62 there. As you can see, a lot of dust flying up. Definitely makes it hard for the drivers to see, and then everybody just piles in from behind. I mean, due to poor visibility at this point, as the 62, the 38 pile in. Hamlin was involved, but really didn't pick up any damage now. As once again, we are under caution here from Bristol Motor Speedway. There you see the damage on that 48 car of Alex Bowman. We can confirm the 18 of Kyle Busch, by the way, is out of the race after running himself out of field. So that just seemed to put the icing on the cake there for the type of race Kyle Busch had, as well as Kevin Harvick, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. They have retired from the event as well. So all of a sudden, Jay, here we have Chase Elliott leading the way over Tyler Reddick. I mean, we've seen Elliott lately doing some dirt racing. We saw him compete in what it was the Chili Bowl a while back earlier this year. So I mean, we know he's got a good feel for dirt racing lately, and I mean he's starting to show in these 1 to 2 lap sprints that he's definitely got the talent to potentially win here today.
I mean, we were just talking about earlier how he hasn't had an overly awful season. He just hasn't been getting the results or really had the speed that we expect out of him. But I mean, right now, putting himself in the position that he needs to be in, obviously leading this race with still a long, long, long way to go, and we've also seen some iffy pit strategies so far. So still a lot of racing left. Uh, Definitely a lot of pacing left. And if Chase Elliott keeps himself in this position, I mean, easy way to win, honestly. If this race keeps up the way this is, he's just got to keep himself clean and just stay in the lead.
So Chase Elliott trying to hang on to at least a stage 2 victory. Yeah, I mean stage 2 comes to an end at the end of lap 80 here at Bristol Dirt. So he's only got to hang on for a little bit as we will be going green this time by. I mean, you look through the order right now, Jay. I mean, the 9 car looks really good. I mean, you look at the cars behind him. The 8 has a bunch of damage. The 33, he was a part of an incident. The Kurt Busch was a part of the crash that ended stage 1. So there's a lot of cars up here with damage that could also be a big help for Chase Elliott.
Yeah, and I think another big thing that helps him out too is, excuse me, I just noticed as he was going by the screen, Logano has quite a bit of rear end damage, and I mean, for the early portion of this race, Logano was absolutely dominating this race, and when we had that 4 or 5 lap run, he pulled away from everybody else behind him. So I certainly think he probably was one of the best cars in the field, and to see him have damage is not what Logano wants to see, but I think it's certainly what Chase Elliott wants to see.
So back underway. How many laps do you think till we see the first caution here?
I'll give it 3 laps.
Three
Being
laps.
ambitious.
We got a car that's way off the pace, by the way, right up
Tyler
here.
Reddick just about got dumped coming off turn 4 there by the 33. I'm sorry, I don't want to interrupt, but I saw him almost just get absolutely turned right in front of the entire field.
Thank goodness he did not, though, but I see some trouble brewing back there, and I see cars in the wall, but they kept it straight, so we're okay. I saw Chase Briscoe actually get hooked there in the left rear quarter panel, so I already see some damage on the right side of his Ford Mustang, but, oh, Hamlin, a little bit of contact there with Corey LaJoie, but so far, so good. This gives me myself a little bit of hope, and honestly, Jay, I think that we also, of course, got this big dust buildup, I think, as well as this multi-groove racing that we're seeing and these guys coming together on the exit of the corner. This is not really helping.
Yeah, I mean these guys are, especially on the bottom, just trying to get back to the gas as quickly as they can and use up as much real estate on the track as they can. And with a lot of this dust being thrown up, is Logano
He's
having
good.
contact from behind there? With all the dust up there above them, the spotters probably can't clear them that well, and so they're just trying to get as much real estate as they can and use up much track as they can to get as much speed. And it is, it's honestly causing a lot of issues. I really think a lot of the issues that's happening today has to do with the dust and the visibility issues, the spotters not being able to see, the drivers not being able to see, all that kind of stuff. And so we've seen some bonehead driving that's getting caused by it.
And if I'm not mistaken, the 22's in the wall, by the way. 48's in the inside wall. No caution. They keep it straight. But if I'm not mistaken, this is the first time since, what, 1970 since there's been a dirt race in the Cup Series. So this is something uh, brand new to the Cup Series, to this generation of, NASCAR fans. So we kind of expected some chaos here. There is a lot of damage on that 22 car of Joey Logano. Oh my, they just about wrecked behind there. I saw the 14 hooked, I think the 96 of Ty Dillon. So these guys in the back of the pack racing just as hard as the guys at the front. But Jay, we look up front. This is the longest we've been green all race long, by the way. 21 laps to go here in stage 2. But we're seeing that 9 car of Chase Elliott actually pull away. But Austin Cindric, Jay, a rookie on dirt who has no dirt experience whatsoever, is doing a tremendous job there in second place.
Yeah, he's doing a really nice job so far. I think it's another example of somebody taking or taking advantage of the position that they're put into, and he's out survived guys with damage, and he's also not out survived guys who's made some pit strategies. So he's certainly taking advantage of, as the 9 car has suddenly lost the lead. Wait a second now. Oh no,
No,
that's the
now he's
fastest
up
lap.
front. Yeah.
Okay. I was like, wait a,
Oh, oh,
oh
oh,
well,
oh.
there's a caution. We are once
Oh,
again
Kyle
under the
Larson.
yellow flag. Kyle Larson. That's not ideal for Kyle Larson.
Honestly, I think Logano as well. I think the race, Jay, where we expected Larson to be dominant, I think this has so far been his worst race of the year.
I don't know who expected him to be dominant. I didn't expect that at
Well,
all
we
out of him.
expected him to be a factor.
Yeah, potentially. I honestly, like I said, at the beginning of the race, I didn't know what to expect from anyone, just because the Cup cars are so much different than any other thing that any of these guys have driven dirt before have driven. So I mean, certainly I think the experience of driving dirt, at least in some kind of car, helps. But you'd have to think this is such a different animal compared to anything else these guys have ever driven. That I mean, and it's certainly shown so far that it's just really just a wild animal that these guys are trying to tame.
You see the 9 car coming into the pit lane here, by the way, so potentially throwing away a stage victory as of right now. 24 cars on the lead lap. I look at 2 drivers specifically, the 19 and the 24. I don't feel like they put themselves a lap down because of an incident, but everybody else pretty much has. As you see, the 62 actually retires from the race. So Gregson is out. The 9 car's already done his pit stop, and we'll have to wait for the field to cycle through here. But now we're going to get a quick look at what has brought out another caution here in stage 2 after the longest green flag run of the race so far. Here's the replay of Austin Dillon actually turning the 16 of Kaz Gralla on the exit of the corner, and Kyle Larson nowhere to go there as Gralla came across the track. Around he goes now, as Joey Logano would also have a bit of a moment here on the exit of the next corner as they went 3 wide, and around he went into the outside while the 14 gets a piece of it. Logano, oh! The 62 of Gregson nails him in the side, and that would be actually what causes Gregson to DNF from the race here at Bristol Dirt.
The 34 was also in the wall as well coming up to Logano. I don't know what happened to him, but something slowed him down and put him in the wall.
Getting ready to go green this time by already, by the way, less than 100 laps to go at Bristol. And I mean, Jay, we look at the top 10. Currently, only one driver in the top 10 has a win this season. We got Quinn Half there in P5. I think as of right now, it's pretty safe to assume we're going to have a new winner today.
I would say so. I mean, we've seen a lot of guys have issues so far, and a chunk of those guys have been the guys who've won this season so far. There's one name that we've mentioned pretty much every week so far this season, and then so far today we haven't actually seen him be up towards the top, and that's Eric Almirola. He's there in 6th place, and honestly, I think this is the worst he's ran all season long. And normally, every single race we're calling about him being up towards the top and how good he's doing and everything. So I mean, certainly right now I think he was struggling a bit, but obviously taking advantage a bit of other guys having issues, and his car looks pretty clean. So I certainly think he hopes it can stays that way for the rest of the race.
And now the 10 car looks great there as he almost drives into the side of, oh my, okay, they're okay. The 23 and the 12, good friends of Ryan Blaney and Bubba Wallace actually came together there on the exit of the corner and nearly turned into a big incident. As you can now, you can just see how bad that visibility is there on the exit of these corners, specifically from the outside lane as a 20 just drove into the back of Benedetto. He picks up some damage actually. As right now, Austin Cindric, by the way, does lead the way here. But Jay, we've been watching a guy like Benedetto. He's had a very up and down season, currently inside the playoffs. Not really known for his dirt background, but of course with just how crazy and different these cars are and really dirt not mattering too much, he's having a great run here today. So far.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, so far he certainly is, but I mean, at this point, you really can't consider any guy that's having a good run right now to be there towards the end of the race. Because, I mean, we've just seen how absolutely kind of crazy and wacky this race has been. A guy can have a problem at any moment. And, I mean, certainly with it also being Bristol dirt, no experience on the dirt, your race can change at any moment.
And look at that car. I mean, it doesn't look the greatest, but here he is running pretty well up inside the top 5, actually, in P3 here. So a great run so far for Matt Benedetto, the 24 and the 8 going at it. 24 is a lap down. Oh, we got trouble. The 10 car. Oh my, I'm surprised. That's only a single car spin. The 10 car just dumped David Reagan there in the 36, I believe that was. So caution is out with less than 10 laps to go in stage 2. So we were talking about Benedetto, or Almirola, sorry, having a clean race. I mean, his car still looks good at least, but yeah, not afraid to dump someone if he needs to now. As you can see, Bubba Wallace up here in the top 5 having a good run now. But now the question is anybody going to come to the pit lane here? As Jay, I mean, another thing is there's been so many cautions. I don't know what the fuel or tire situation looks like. And I feel like that strategy could be a big role now, considering how different everybody's strategy currently is.
I honestly think the strategy is just kind of thrown out of this race at this point. It's just pit whenever you feel like you absolutely have to, and stay out all the other times. Because if you put yourself towards the back, I mean, we've seen some of these guys like Logano pit voluntarily when he probably didn't really need to, and then he goes out and gets involved in incidents. And in my opinion, probably the best car of the day is now has a ton of damage, and not going to be able to be competitive. So I mean, at this point, I don't know if there is any more strategy. It's kind of just only pit when necessary, and try and survive.
Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting one. There's the 34 on the pit lane. So right now, rounding out the top 10 is the 43 of Eric Jones. I mean, you see the top 10, you see a lot of damaged cars. So it just kind of describes the way this race has been. And we're going to take you right to the end of stage 2 here, because that is only just a few moments away now as I see David Reagan coming into the pit lane. But of course, we're now going to get a look at what just happened between Eric Almirola as well as David Reagan. Eric Almirola comes through out of the corner, I think out of turns 4, and actually just straight up dumps the 36 of David Reagan in tags wall there. Fortunately, it appears that nobody actually ran into the 36 there after that happened. So just a single car incident now as we get ready to go green once again to the end of stage 2 as Austin Cindric leads away. Getting ready to take you guys to the end of the second stage. A 3-lap dash it will be here with Austin Cindric, Tyler Reddick, and a destroyed number 8 Chevrolet there for Richard Childress Racing. Matt DiBenedetto in P3, Christopher Bell and Bubba Wallace round out your top 5. And then to round out the top 10, Chase Elliott has actually worked his way back up after giving up the lead now as the green flag is sure enough back out here from Bristol. 3 laps remain in stage 2. Does a caution end it like stage 1 or do we make it back? We're about to find out now as you see the 20 of Christopher Bell all the way up at the top there. Now as we look through just outside of the top 10, we got drivers like Brad Keselowski, the 6 car of Ryan Newman, Daniel Suarez, quite a ways down in the order, of course, after having some trouble earlier. Now, as they come through to 2 laps to go, looking pretty clean now as the 24 of William Byron. Jay would certainly love to pass that 33 and get on the lead lap before the stage ends.
I think he might have the speed to as well. I just don't know if he's going to have the ability to do it with the bottom being such a dominant lane. I don't know if he's going to be able to do it if Cindric keeps running that lane. He's only got 1 lap to do it here.
Final lap underway now as they do race it back to the green, so we have to put the command as soon as they cross to start the final lap. So down the back straightaway, unfortunately, we're having a nice little run here that we have to put an end to as they come through out of turns 4. Byron does not get back on the lead lap. Austin Cindric wins the stage. I saw the 23 and the 20 get a little bit close together now as that's actually not the first time we've seen Cindric win a stage this season. I think it was just last week, Jay, at Atlanta we saw him steal a stage of victory. So he's starting to turn up here as a rookie and have some good performances.
Hey, you know that guy sitting there in second place right now, Tyler Reddick. We haven't talked about him much, but we know he's pretty good here on dirt. And so far, I think even he's got some he's got some damage to that car, and he's a lot of damage actually to that car, and he's still piling it to second place right here. So I think it goes to show so far that his skill is kind of coming through, and he's showing that he can get it done here pretty well.
Yeah, he's been that car has been like that since I think early in stage 1 now, and he's doing a very good job with what he has got right there. The number 17 of Chris Buescher would end up rounding out the top 10 there. Quinn Half got some stage points. Chase Elliott picks up a couple points as well, as it appears everybody's staying out. So we're going to go to a quick break, come back, and get ready to go green here for the third and final stage in what has been a crash-filled, chaotic Bristol dirt race here tonight at Bristol Motor Speedway. Welcome back to Bristol Dirt here, getting ready to go green for the third and final stage. Jay, we still haven't gotten a long run here today. I think the longest run we've gotten is about 6 or 7 laps. Do you anticipate maybe getting something long here as we get ready to go green?
No, not at all. I don't. I don't expect it at all. I mean, we've gone through 85 laps of this race, almost over half the race, and we haven't seen a long run happen so far. And I still don't think we're going to see it happen. These guys are just all over the place. They're driving like maniacs, and that's going to continue, in my opinion.
If you came to this video to see crashes, well, you came to the right place today. Now, as I mean, we've had some big crashes, of course, throughout the season, but this one has just been crash filled. And I mean, Quinn Half just pulled a Quinn Half in the back of the field. I just saw Denny Hamlin T-bone him really hard and up and over. Goes the 0-0 of Quinn Half and Denny Hamlin's race. I'm pretty confident just came to an end as well, as we were just mentioning how interesting of a race it has been, and said you came to the right place to see crashes, and sure enough, Quinn Half puts himself on his roof here at Bristol Dirt. Just when you thought it couldn't get any worse, well, we were proven wrong, as we're going to get a replay right away of that one here. Here's a look at Quinn Half. Drives into the side of the 12, turns himself, and here comes Denny Hamlin. Boom! Up and over goes the 0-0. And that's, once again, the end of the day of Quinn Half. Very unfortunate for him. He was having a career run. Denny Hamlin comes to a stop. He calls it right then and there. He says, I'm out of the car. There you see the 33 rolling by. Denny Hamlin's day has come to a close as well. We can confirm last week's winner. He's had a very strong season. He's picked up, I think, the most points, actually. And here he is having his race come to an end in the third and final stage. I mean, Jay, we never really saw Denny Hamlin much today, other than right there when he just put his day to a close. But definitely, he was having a rough race overall.
Yeah, he wasn't running very well at all the entire race, and he'd already been involved in I think at least one incident, if not a couple. And then right there, I mean, Quinoff just spinning in front of him, nowhere to go, and just nails him and gets a ton of damage. So unfortunate end to his day, but honestly, I don't think he was going to be competitive anyways.
So now coming to the start of lap 90, this puts 61 laps to go for the field. So not a lot of time at all for anything to happen here. I think I've seen that 52 car come into the pit lane like 35 times by now in this race here. So they've got some problems they got to get worked out with that car. But I mean, honestly, Jay, the way this thing is going, Austin Cindric might be in the best spot just because of how many crashes we're having. No one's ever going to have a chance to even make anything happen against him.
Kind of like the same thing I was saying with Chase Elliott a little bit earlier. You know, you just stay out, don't pit, just put yourself in this position, don't get involved in anything, and you can honestly win this race. I mean, with how short these runs have been so far, really the guy who is leading, as long as he doesn't pit, is going to be the one who wins. There's no chance for anybody to even do anything. And especially for, I mean, even some of these guys like Chase Elliott back here who has no damage. There's guys with damage in front of him that will take time to get around, and those lap cars to the bottom as well. So, I mean, if this race doesn't change, honestly, without Cindric pitting, I think he wins this race easily.
Here's my prediction. I think we stay green to the end of this race. So um, we're about to find
If
out.
you put money on that, you would lose every single cent that you put on it.
We're about to find out now as the pace car pulls off. William Byron has been on the inside of the 33 on so many restarts now and just unfortunately can't get out in front by the time the caution comes out. Now as a green flag, though, returns here at Bristol. There you see the overhead shot from the helicopter. Almirola all the way up by the outside wall there as he leads the, or sorry, does not lead the way. Cindric leads the way now, but there you see Tyler Reddick still running in P2. But look at that run. The outside gets Almirola up into P3, passing Matt DiBenedetto. So far, so good now as they go down into turns one. But Jay, we know Almirola, he's had a great season, and I think honestly, other than Denny Hamlin, I think we could argue that Almirola has been the best driver this season.
Other than Hamlin or maybe
Caution.
Kyle Larson, is there's a caution once again.
I lost the bet here now. Um, it looks like the 5 of Kyle Larson, potentially with the 2 of Brad Keselowski. Larson's car is destroyed as well. That looks just like Hamlin's car did a few minutes ago, and he called it a race. But once again, caution is out, and we're going to get a look right away at what just happened. Garrett Smithley this time bringing out the yellow here. As you're going to see him push up into the 14, and then he comes down into the 2 of Keselowski, who causes a big incident there across the 34. Kyle Larson into the back of the 2. Caution comes out here, and Kyle Larson has been involved in more crashes, I think, today than he has all season. Kyle Larson definitely not having the greatest day overall. Jay, he was actually my pick for the race. I didn't actually say it, but he was definitely the one I was expecting to be up there. And obviously things haven't gone right for him. But I mean, overall, it's of course been a great season for Larson. And we look at Bristol Dirt. We knew it was a wild card race, so we really can't be too surprised as he does call it a day.
Yeah, I mean, he certainly has had a. This has been his worst race of the season so far, and I mean, certainly by him DNFing, that definitely makes it the worst race of his season so far. But he wasn't really running well today at all. At all here today. You know, as we've seen him do every single week so far, he's had the best car pretty much the entire season. So definitely a struggle day for him, but I mean, you know, luckily for him, he at least has some points he can fall back on, and I'm sure pretty soon he'll have a win or two that he can fall back on.
There you saw Bubba Wallace coming into the pit lane. As of right now, Kurt Busch has the fastest lap. We kind of lost Kurt Busch, honestly. Don't even know where he is or even if he's still in the race. It does appear that Kurt should still be. Yes, he is actually up there in P16. We just kind of lost track of him now as he kind of faded throughout the field. There you see his car there. Quite a bit of damage on that number 1 car, but still good enough to run fast. But Chase Elliott, he has the second fastest lap overall, and we know he has speed. Was running up front in stage 2, ended up crashing out, and here he is. Really can't go anywhere with how frequently these cautions are coming out now. So it's going to be interesting to see if we can get a bit of a green flag run somehow and see these guys work their way forwards now. As you got the 12 of Ryan Blaney up here in the top 10, and then we got the 20 of Christopher Bell, has been running pretty well. Then you got the 21 at Benedetto, of course, Almirola. Austin Dillon there, I believe, is a lap down. But you got guys like Truex as well, Jay, who've just been stuck a lap down all race because he pitted at the wrong time. So, I mean, it just destroyed his whole race.
Yeah, and it's certainly something that Truex doesn't want to see for himself either, because we know we were talking about the point situation earlier in this race, and Truex is one of those guys that's also out of the playoffs, which is not what you expect to see from him at all. I mean, Truex the last couple of years has been one of the better drivers up there, right up there with Harvick, and so far this year struggling, and it's definitely struggling so far today. I think that that pit call really messed him over, and he's just kind of been stuck here a lap down. And with the way being a lap down works in NR, it's really, once you get a lap down, it's really hard, almost impossible to get a lap back and get yourself back into contention.
I don't think we've seen a single driver get their lap back yet this season. Now, as we're back underway, Truex comes into this race 14 points, I believe it is, below the cut line. So, a little bit of work for them to do, and of course, it's not going to get any easier after today's race. But of course, he's still got another 17 regular season races or something like that after today now, including a bunch of road courses where he is known to be pretty good at, as the 9 car just decided to throw the 12 of Ryan Blaney into the outside wall, and the caution does not come out because they all kept it straight, but Ryan Blaney can't be too thrilled with that now, as there's definitely some right side damage on that car. As there you see Chase Elliott sending it off into the corner. He is actually up to P6. Honestly, Jay, we haven't seen a whole lot of passes going on, but I have been seeing that 9 car move his way throughout the field.
Haven't had the opportunity really to have a whole lot of passes going on. I mean, the longest green flag run we've had is 7 or 8 laps so far, and we're 101 laps into this thing, so there's not really been an opportunity for it. But you are right. I mean, the last couple of runs that we've had, Chase Elliott has really been working his way through this top 10. And I think at the moment he's probably got the best car in the field. He just needs to not make another pit stop. And I mean, I think these guys can make it to the end from here. So at this point, if we stay green, I think we'll see Chase Elliott probably come to the lead within the next 10 or 15 laps.
Chase Elliott has DNF'd actually the last 2 weeks here, so he is in need of a really good run. He still remains in the playoffs, actually, by 6 points coming into this race. So he's definitely had enough points there in the first handful of races to kind of make up for the 2 DNFs in a row. He's already made it further today than he did in the last couple of races, so a good rebound run at least for Chase Elliott, no matter what at this point, even if he does finish there in that 6th position. But he's definitely putting a lot of pressure there on the back of the 20. I mean, you look at the field right here. I mean, Jay, Austin Cindric's got 1, 2, 3 lap cars in between him and second place of Tyler Reddick, making it just so much easier for him to be able to potentially just run away with this win with less than 50 laps to go already.
To be fair, the guy who is in second place is Tyler Reddick with a ton of damage. So I mean, I think you see somebody like Chase Elliott get into second place here, we might see that change really quickly. Because I think Reddick's car is just way too damaged to be able to be competitive to Cindric. But obviously good enough for him to at least run second place right now, as I think he's actually down to third with the 21 taking over second place. So I mean, I really still do expect Chase Elliott, as long as he can keep his car clean, and as long as this race stays green, I really do think we'll probably see him charge towards the front here.
Almirola as well just passed the 8 car. As this might be the longest green flag run of the day. I don't want to jinx anything, but there you see 20 car, the 14, all getting into the mix now. Actually, the 14 has driven past the 9 of Chase Elliott. Briscoe has been known for a bit of a dirt background as well, so he could be a bit of a driver to watch here in the final 44 laps of this event, as he's also driven past the 20 of Christopher Bell. So all of a sudden, the 14 out of nowhere is putting pressure on the back of Tyler Reddick for 4th place, but 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, all right on each other. But Jay, look at this 14. He is making up a lot of ground all of a sudden, with a bunch of damage on the right side.
Yeah, it's kind of surprising to see. I mean, we also really haven't seen Briscoe do much so far this season, but so far today, or at least not really so far, but all of a sudden right now, he's looking really good. And I mean, we were just talking about Chase Elliott probably being the best car in the field. It certainly seems like we were either wrong
Caution.
or he just gotten stuck in a bad spot. There is a yellow.
I was about to mention that 10 car was closing. It appears Logano looks to be the reasoning for this caution. He has been involved in multiple crashes, if you couldn't tell by looking at that car. Now, as this could get interesting, now we've got some drivers like Eric Almirola now up in the mix. Chase Elliott in P5. Reddick has dropped from second place to sixth place on what was the longest green flag run so far today, as we're going to get a look here at what just brought out the most recent caution at Bristol Dirt. Kurt Busch ends up taking out Joey Logano here on the exit of turns 4. Right there, you saw it. They both go into the outside wall, and then Ty Dillon piles in. The 53 of Smithley was involved as well, and that brings out. I haven't been keeping count of how many cautions we've had, but I know that brings out. We've had double-digit cautions today for sure. So there you see the look at Logano's car. A lot of damage, of course, on it. He has won a race this season, so really nothing to be concerned for him about now. But Jay, we now have 40 laps to go in this race. 18 cars remain on the lead lap, and Austin Cindric continues to lead the way. What do you think? What do you think is going to happen here in the final 40?
Continuous cautions. Pretty easy to say. I mean, we've seen some longer runs recently, which is really nice to see these guys race around this track. It's been enjoyable once they've gotten green to see them race. So I still think we're probably going to see some more wrecks, but I mean, it's hard to say at this point what we're really going to see to the end of this thing. But I mean, I think there's one thing that's pretty easy to guess is as long as he doesn't pit, honestly, I think Cindric might have this race won no matter what. It just seems like so far he has decent speed enough compared to everybody else behind him, and he's also just he has those lap cars that usually wind up behind him as a really good cushion. So it wouldn't surprise me at all to see him hold on and win this race still.
Can't say I really expected to see a guy like Cindric in position to potentially win this race, dirt background or not. He is just not known for having any experience with a dirt surface. Now, he's most known for a road racing background, of course, but I mean, certainly getting the job done here today so far, as we will be going green here in just a few moments, but we are going to go through to a quick break and come back here for what could, you never know, be the final restart here at Bristol Dirt. Back from Bristol Dirt, getting ready to take the green flag here in just a few seconds now. Byron, by the way, we did not mention, he has gotten his lap back, rallied his way back into the top 10, so that is a great example of why you just stick with it now as we're back underway once again here in Bristol. Now, as you saw Chase Briscoe actually already just drive by the 21 of Matt DiBenedetto. I looked down a little bit throughout the field. Jay, I think about a guy like Brad Keselowski. He has been running very poor today. Definitely, I don't think he's looking forward to coming back here potentially next season if NASCAR decides to go here again.
I think there's a lot of guys in this field right now that don't want to come here again, or at least not looking forward to coming here again if we do this race again next season. But I mean, there's just been issues and problems all over the place so far in the field today, and I mean, I think we've seen virtually just about every guy who's up towards the top in the points. And oh my goodness, what a save by Bubba Wallace there! Wow, that was spectacular.
Oh boy, they were 4 wide for a second, and there's so much dust. Cannot see a thing at times here now as they come through. William Byron and Kurt Busch. Caution is out, and Kurt Busch is slipping and sliding everywhere. William Byron around, who finally rallied his way back onto the lead lap. We were mentioning him doing a good job sticking with it. Well, he just crashed. So all that progress wiped. Now, as once again, caution here at Bristol Dirt, as we're just going to immediately jump into a look at that 24 car. Here's a look at the 24 of William Byron. Right there, he just moves up into the 20 and then into the outside wall. The Kurt Busch car hits him, and then he actually doesn't really pick up a whole lot of damage, so he's probably going to be okay here in Bristol. But we're going to go to a quick break once again. Come back for the restart here at Bristol. Welcome back once again from Bristol Dirt. And I think my hopes at this point for a green flag run have diminished, because I mean the longest run we can have at this point is 27 laps. So we're getting ready to go green with 27 laps to go now. And I mean, Jay, it's going to be hard here as they're back underway for a driver like Eric Almirola in the 10 to pull this off, because he's got to get clear of that 3 car of Austin Dillon if he's going to want to have any chance at running down that 33 of Cindric and pulling off this victory.
Yeah, those lap cars have played a big cushion so far for Cindric, but I'm not so sure there'll be a cushion this time around. I mean, maybe Austin Dillon, whoa, Briscoe and
Oh,
DiBenedetto, they're wrecking.
wow. Oh, this is has a recipe for it to be big, but nope. Okay, thank goodness. And Bubba Wallace involved as well. Wow. Okay. I mean, are we surprised at this point?
No, not at all. I'm not surprised. I know I'm not. I mean, it's the constant theme we've seen all day long. These guys wrecking off turn 4.
And Matt DiBenedetto just threw away a really good run he was having there. The 14 of Briscoe was looking strong. Bubba Wallace was having a solid race, and all of them involved in a crash now here at Bristol Dirt as well. Let's just get a look at what just happened. Here you see it right here going down into turn 3 to Benedetto. Well, the 14 and the 9 come together. Then the 21 comes into the frame, and really, there was not a lot anyone could do there. The 8 car gets involved. The 20, even the 23 gets punted from Garrett Smithley, and around he went, and everybody would get everything back collected and get back rolling. So, Jay, I think it's safe to say this has been the most interesting race for us to commentate so far this season.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, it's been something
It's hard to
say
describe.
to say the least.
I mean, we see now just 18 cars on the lead lap, Bubba Wallace being the last one, which honestly, with some of the races this season, this is more than, say, I think like Las Vegas and whatnot had at this point towards the end of the race. But overall, I don't know how to describe this one, but it's just been absolute chaos here at the Bristol Dirt Race. So, like I said multiple times, we expected chaos, but definitely not to this kind of value. But I mean, Jay, we look ahead. Next week we got Martinsville Speedway. I think that's going to be another interesting one. Going to a short track there at the Paperclip. Definitely a lot of opportunities for some chaos there as well.
Yeah, Martinsville is always certainly a good time to go to, and always always a good race. And I mean, we've seen the last 3 or 4 years there, pretty much every single time, specifically the playoff race. When you get towards the end of it in those last couple of laps, there's always some kind of drama that goes down, and it makes that race really, really, really entertaining for us fans to watch. So I'm excited for Martinsville. Always am. Always a good race, and hopefully we'll get back to more normal racing and not such calamity as we've seen here today. Which I mean, it is Martinsville, so always a chance for wrecking, always a chance for tempers to flare, always a chance for chaos to happen. But I don't think we're ever going to see anything like we've seen today again.
A wild card in every factor pretty much today, and I'm most looking forward to 3 races from now. After Martinsville is Richmond, but after Richmond is Talladega, and Jay, we get to test out the truck physics on these cup cars for the first time this season at a plate track, because at Daytona we did not do that. So it's going to be, I think, a completely different animal at Talladega compared to what we saw at Daytona.
Oh yeah, I can tell you right away that the cup the truck physics with these cup cars around the plate tracks, just I mean it's absolutely phenomenal. It's like real life racing. You know, these guys are 3 wide the whole time, and when there's no wrecking, the racing is really good. But it also, when I say the racing in real life or the racing compares to real life really well, it does, because if wrecks start happening, the race in this game gets really boring and really bad really quickly, a lot like it does in real life.
So the hope is they keep it clean as long as possible at Talladega now, as they are back underway, and it will be just 20 laps to go when they reach the line. And once again, it's going to be crucial here for DiBenedetto to try and get clear of that 3 car of Austin Dillon, as a 9 car got a really big run, but right now it's the 3 car who is clear of the 10.
You know, I would just like to point out that that is Eric Almirola in the 10 car and not Matt DiBenedetto.
Matt DiBenedetto is not in the 10 car, by the way. It is Eric Almirola, as I still have that NASCAR Heat career mode mindset going on. So Almirola in the 10 car, as he is, I mean, close enough to attack on that 33, but obviously has a car of Austin Dillon in between the two of them, and potentially going to have Truex as well in the way now, as you can see some potentially 4 wide action going on back here. now as Eric Jones, Tyler Reddick, Ryan Newman, they're all going at it. Alex Bowman, he's had a rough day. It's not been a good season, Jay, for Alex Bowman. He currently is below the cut line. He made up a lot of points in the last few weeks with a decent run in Phoenix and a good run in Atlanta, but today is going to just be another setback for that 48 team.
Yeah, he really was starting to get some good momentum going and get some good finishes under his belt, which he really, really needed. And so far today, 23rd is not what he needs at all. I mean, he's already had a rough season so far, and another rough race added to that. Uh, this season's resume so far for him is not good at all. He really cannot afford to have any more races like this. But I mean, I guess if you want to look at it in a positive way, the good thing for him is a lot of other guys around him in the points situation have struggled as well. I mean, Kyle Busch, Kurt Busch, Truex. So he's not the only one in that situation that's struggling so far today. So there is a bit of positivity for him in that situation, but at the same time, he personally needs to have better runs and stop hoping that the other guys have bad runs along with him.
I saw some four wide action there for just a brief moment. Bubba Wallace a little bit buried down the order now after being involved in a recent crash. There's a 20 car just about drove right into the back of him. Christopher Bell not having the last bit of the race that he was looking for now as we look back at the lead. And to my surprise, I mean, it's not really a surprise that Truex is passing Austin Cindric, but this could open the door for Almirola maybe, especially as well if the 3 car can get past. But I think right now, Jay, I mean, it looks like Austin Cindric coming to 13 to go is in a great spot here to get his first win in his rookie season when we definitely did not expect to see that happen.
It seemed like really recently, within the last couple of laps, he started to lose some speed in that car. And I mean, obviously, we see the 19 and the 3 potentially going around him here to get back on the lead lap. So he's looked a little bit slower as of recent, and I've noticed the 10 and the 9 both have made up a lot of ground on him. So I don't know if his tires are just getting old compared to the guys behind him or and the rest of the guys in the field, or if a green flag run is just truly showing the how worse performance his car is compared to a lot of these guys. But I don't know if there's enough time for him to really lose this thing. I mean, you know, what we've seen so far is passing has been kind of hard. And I mean, it certainly makes it hard when we have cautions. But even when we're going on these green flag runs, we haven't been able to see guys pass each other that easily unless they're just that much faster. Which obviously I don't think that the 10 and the 9 have blow by speed compared to him. So I truly think that Cindric is going to win here today. And I mean, like you said, massive, massive surprise to see that.
Cindric's gained 3 tenths in the last 2 laps, surprisingly, there. Now is Almirola. I think Elliott is going to be the main competitor, but Almirola just has that outside line kind of down, and that's just kind of destroying Elliott's chances. But as I mentioned, Cindric pulling away 3 tenths, Almirola actually just gained some time there, so it might not fully be over yet now here as you see the 10 car running a bit of a different lane here through the center of the corners, but you see he's got a really weird exit right there out of turns 1. It seems to be slowing him up. It was 0.99, now it's 1.01, so he loses a little bit there with less than 10 laps to go. It looks like we might actually keep it green here to the end of this race potentially, as they're actually getting a little bit spread out, but Almirola running out of time quick, and Cindric now on the move to the inside here. If I'm him, Jay, I think I'm just playing it safe at this point, trying to make sure he doesn't get himself involved in an incident as he's continuing to now pull away from the 10 car who's just falling off a cliff.
Yeah, he's got to be looking in that rearview mirror and just keeping those guys behind him, making sure that he doesn't make any mistakes, and run as clean of a race as possible. He doesn't need to get around these 2 in front of him. If he does get around them, that obviously puts a cushion there, so that'll help. But it's not an imperative that he gets around them. I mean, the 9 car still got to deal with the 42 right now, and we know Chastain's not going to move out of the way because he's Chastain. So the 33 right now just really needs to run his own race and keep a check on the guys in the rearview mirror, but not really try and push and just kind of ride right now for these last 6 laps.
And now you got the 53 Garrett Smithley in the way as well of Chase Elliott. So this is the worst case scenario. Ross Chastain and Garrett Smithley in front of you as Smithley pulls off again for the 73rd time today. Now as they approach the final 5 laps, and Cindric with this lap traffic has just been perfect for him, as no one's really been able to run him down now. As we actually see the 53, I got the wrong car up here now, but the 53 on that pit lane as the 21's going at it there with the 6 of Ryan Newman in the final 5 laps of this race. Elliott has nothing left at this point, over 2 seconds as Ross Chastain continues to be Ross Chastain and be in the way. And not really care now, as Cindric actually got back past the 19, and at this point, Jay, if a caution comes out, the race is over. So I mean, it's a given that Cindric wins this thing unless somehow something goes wrong here in the last couple laps.
Yeah, unless some lap car gets in his way and sits in front of him, kind of like Chastain is sitting in front of Chase Elliott, or unless some unfortunate event happens where he loses a tire or something like that. I mean, it's all but over for Cindric at this point. He's got this thing won, and I mean, really, really, really big surprise to see that.
Right here is where we're really going to see, I think, if the 9 had anything, because he has a clear track for this lap, and so does Austin Cindric. So it's 2.16 coming to 2 laps to go in Bristol Dirt. Finally, a bit of a green flag run to end this race. So 2.16 now goes to 2.20. So he gained about half a tenth there in that lap. A bit of a surprise now is Austin Cindric coming through turns 3 and out of turns 4, and after a wild, chaotic Bristol dirt race, Austin Cindric, the rookie, takes the white flag and leads away into turns 1 and 2 for the final time. Is something going to go wrong with that 33? Very unlikely at this point. He has no traffic to worry about out of turns 2. He pulled away about half a second on the 9 car that last lap, and into turns 3 and 4. A rookie, Austin Cindric, is going to come through out of turns 4 to win at Bristol Dirt and now put himself in the playoffs here at Bristol. So a big shock right there as Chase Elliott comes through to cross the line second, Ryan Blaney third, Tyler Reddick fourth, Joey Logano somehow rounds out the top 5, Eric Almirola P6, Kurt Busch, Chris Buescher, Eric Jones, and William Byron round out your top 10. But wow, I mean, Jay Cindric, I mean, dominated ever since Chase Elliott gave up that lead in stage 2, and I mean, just no one had anything for him, and I mean, he proved right there he was pulling away from the 9 car, even with a clear track at one point for the 9. So I mean, a great performance overall by the 33.
A very, very good race from him today. Really not one that I expected to happen at all, but I mean, it was Bristol Dirt, you know, a wild card race. Anybody could win, and we certainly saw it there with Cindric getting that win, and now he's locked himself into the playoffs for his rookie season. I mean, just something I did not see coming at all, but great for that young man and great for him to get his first win today. Certainly, like you said, after he got that lead when Chase Elliott relinquished it in stage 2, he just went on to dominate the rest of the race. Even though there was caution laps, when we did get green flag runs, he showed that no one else had anything for him, and it was surprising to see him get that done. But really good for him. And also, you mentioned there Logano somehow getting into the top 5. I mean, that's an incredible rebound for him, and also an incredible rebound for Byron, who got into the top 10 with 40-ish laps to go, got wrecked, and then somehow climbed his way back into the top 10 after getting wrecked. So really, really good day for him to have that. Well, not good, good rebound for Byron.
I think I lost you, Jay. uh, you kind of cut out there. I don't know if Jay had a technical difficulty right there, but we have lost him on my end. So I mean, overall, a wild race there. You see the rest of the finishing order. Kyle
Hello?
Larson down there in P32. Oh, I think I got you back.
What did you last hear?
I don't know. You just started cutting out, and then you were gone for a moment there.
Huh.
You were talking
Okay,
about William
that's odd.
Byron's comeback though, but now you're back.
Yeah, that's pretty much all I had to say. So go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to
Um,
interrupt you.
yeah, no, you're all good. There is. I was just going through the finishing order. Kyle Larson, rough day there in P32. He was the first of the drivers that retired from the race. Balicki was 20 laps down. He was one of those cars that pitted so many times. Now, as you see, Quinn Half, Denny Hamlin, Gregson, Gralla, Alfredo, Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick, and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. were all the other cars as well that DNF'd from this race here today at Bristol Dirt. But Jay, we already talked about next week, Martinsville Speedway. Excited to get going for that one. I think it's going to be quite the difference from what we just saw today in Bristol.
Oh yeah, certainly. We're gonna have the first actual short track race of the season. We've already been to 2 short tracks, of course, Phoenix and Bristol, but Phoenix not a true short track, and Bristol obviously with having dirt and just being an absolute wild race and wild card. So gonna be nice to be at the first actual short race of the season, short track race of the season, and get to Martinsville, which is always a good time. So can't wait for that, and certainly excited to see who gets it done there.
Absolutely looking forward to that one. One of my favorite tracks on the schedule. I look forward to it even more when it's in the playoffs. But regular season still, Martinsville, anything will take it. So that will do it though for the broadcast here of the Bristol Dirt Race. A wild one, chaotic. Don't know how to describe it. I can't put it into words. But certainly was an interesting one. So of course we would like to thank you all for taking the time of your day to watch this episode. If you enjoyed our commentary, at least make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Those would all be very appreciated. And we'll see you guys in the next one or next week at Martinsville Speedway. Have a great day, everybody.